9.58 seconds. In the time it takes you to read that sentence, Usain Bolt made history. But what happened after he crossed that final finish line? When the world's fastest man walked away from the track, he stepped into something far more treacherous than Olympic competition: the cutthroat world of business and wealth. Today, we uncover the shocking truth behind the $90 million empire that almost disappeared overnight, the secret investments that rebuilt his fortune, and the luxury lifestyle that costs more per day than most people earn in a year. This is the untold story of what happens when lightning strikes twice. The Kingston night glows with neon as a Ferrari 458 Italia roars through the streets, its driver barely visible behind tinted windows. The car pulls up to a gleaming mansion in Norbrook, one of Jamaica's most exclusive neighborhoods. At the wheel isn't a drug lord or tech billionaire. It's Usain Bolt, once the fastest man alive, now one of the Caribbean's most powerful businessmen. But just 2 years ago, this empire nearly crumbled overnight. January 2023. Bolt opens his investment account statement and freezes. His $12.7 million balance with stocks and securities limited has vanished, reduced to just $12,000. Not a typo, not a glitch, gone. I'm not broke, but it definitely has put a damper on me, Bolt tells reporters, his usual smile nowhere to be seen. It was for my future. I have a young daughter and more kids on the way. This isn't just any fraud case. This is one of the largest financial crimes in Jamaica's history, targeting their national hero. The money, earmarked for his children's future and his parents' care, had evaporated into thin air. How does a man recover from losing nearly $13 million? And more importantly, how does his $90 million fortune remain intact despite such a catastrophic blow? The answer reveals a business genius that few suspected lived inside the mind of an Olympic sprinter. Rewind to 2017, the London World Championships, Bolt's final professional race. As he takes his position in the starting blocks for the last time, his financial future is already secured. Unlike most track athletes who fade into obscurity after retirement, Bolt has built something revolutionary, a personal brand worth more than all his prize money combined. The secret? An unprecedented lifetime deal with Puma worth $10 million annually during his career, dropping to only $4 million per year in retirement. This contract, signed back in 2013, would prove to be his financial safety net when disaster struck. I've always said to myself that when I retire from track and field, I don't want to be one of those athletes who fade away, Bolt once told Forbes. I want to be set for life. Set for life he is, but not just through sponsorships. As we follow the money trail, we discover Bolt's Kingston mansion, worth $2.65 million. A modest sum for a sports superstar, until you realize it's just one piece in a vast real estate portfolio strategically placed throughout Jamaica. His most audacious property, a massive 60,000 square foot business process outsourcing center on Hope Road, directly across the street from the very investment firm that defrauded him of $12.7 million. It was a power move, explains Jamaican business analyst Marcus Williams. He didn't just recover, he built his comeback literally in the shadow of his betrayers. The property generates nearly $90,000 monthly in rental income alone. But real estate is just the beginning. The real shock comes when we examine Bolt's business portfolio. Far from the safe, conservative investments typical of athletes, Bolt's approach mirrors his racing style. Bold, aggressive, and willing to take massive risks. Exhibit A, Bolt Mobility. In 2018, leveraging his name and fame, Bolt launched an electric scooter company to compete with burdened Lime. The company raised $40 million in venture capital and quickly expanded to 45 markets across the US and Europe. Valuations soared to $100 million. Then, disaster struck. Again. In 2022, Bolt Mobility suddenly collapsed, abandoning operations in 8 US cities and leaving thousands of scooters stranded on streets. The company leadership vanished without fulfilling financial obligations. A catastrophic failure that would bankrupt most entrepreneurs, but not Bolt. The scooter business taught me a valuable lesson, Bolt admits in a rare interview about his business failures. Speed matters on the track, but in business, sometimes you need to slow down and verify your team. While Bolt Mobility crashed, his restaurant chain Tracks and Records thrived. What started as a single Jamaican-themed sports bar in Kingston expanded to Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, and London. Plans for Shanghai are in development. The restaurants showcase Bolt memorabilia while serving authentic Jamaican cuisine, creating an experience that merges his athletic legacy with his cultural heritage. Each business is like a different race, Bolt explains. Some are sprints, some are marathons. You have to know which is which. His latest venture? Music production. $20,000. That's what sources close to Bolt claim he spends daily to maintain his lifestyle. A staggering burn rate that would exhaust most fortunes within years. His car collection alone is worth millions. A custom gold-wrapped Nissan GT-R, one of only 3 ever made. A Ferrari 458 Italia that can hit 210 miles per hour. A Rolls-Royce Cullinan worth $348,500. A bespoke Jeep Wrangler valued at $285,000. I've always loved speed, Bolt grins during a tour of his garage. These cars are just a different way to feel it. Then there's his watch collection. A partnership with Hublot has yielded timepieces ranging from $24,000 to $83,000. His favorite? The Big Bang Unico Sapphire, a limited edition worth more than many people's homes. But perhaps the most infamous aspect of Bolt's spending? The parties. Neighbors near his Kingston mansion have filed numerous noise complaints over the years. Reports describe gatherings that last until dawn, with bar tabs exceeding $7,500 in a single night. One police officer, speaking anonymously, admits, "When you're Usain Bolt in Jamaica, even the authorities look the other way." Yet behind the public persona of the party-loving speed demon lies a surprising contradiction. In a quiet moment at his home, away from the cameras and cheering crowds, Bolt sits on his terrace overlooking Kingston. His longtime partner Cassie Bennett joins him, their 3 young children playing nearby. Olympia, Thunder, St. Leo, not so close to the edge, he calls out, revealing the names of his children, each one a reflection of his legacy. His eldest daughter, Olympia Lightning Bolt, born in 2020, followed by twins St. Leo and Thunder Bolt in 2021. The family kept completely secret for 3 years until Bolt was ready to share them with the world. Having 3 kids is harder than breaking world records, he confesses with a laugh. At least with racing, you know when it's over. Bennett, a successful entrepreneur and model in her own right, has been with Bolt since 2013. Their relationship remained hidden until the 2016 Rio Olympics, when she finally appeared publicly as his partner. Fame changes people around you, Bolt explains. I wanted to protect what mattered most. This family-centered approach extends to his parents. After the fraud scandal, one of Bolt's first concerns was for his mother and father, whose financial security was threatened by the massive loss. You can lose money and make it back, he says, but you can't replace family. The SSL fraud case continues to unfold in Jamaican courts, but Bolt hasn't waited for justice. Instead, he's completely restructured his financial empire. While the public saw a man who'd lost nearly $13 million, behind the scenes, Bolt was executing a financial recovery that few thought possible. His secret weapon, the 9.58 brand, named after his world record time. In 2024, leveraging his massive social media following, over 50 million across platforms, Bolt launched his music career through 2 companies. A-Team Lifestyle and 9.58 Records. His exotic and wild album released in 2024, focusing on dancehall and reggae music, genres deeply connected to his Jamaican roots. Music was always my second love after track, Bolt reveals. When you're training, you can't pursue everything. Now I can. This musical venture isn't just a hobby, it's a calculated business move. Performances as a DJ in Kingston nightclubs regularly sell out, while Puma continues to support this new career direction, seeing it as an extension of the Bolt lifestyle brand. Perhaps the most surprising aspect of Bolt's financial empire is how much flows back to Jamaica. The Usain Bolt Foundation has donated 150 laptops worth $40,000 to rural Jamaican schools, $1.3 million to his alma mater, William Knibb Memorial High School, $6.1 million to 6 rural schools for athletics preparation, substantial aid to Haiti after hurricane devastation. His most significant impact has been on Sherwood Content, the village where he grew up. Once a humble community with limited resources, it now boasts a new school, health center, recreational facilities, and improved electrical infrastructure. I remember what it was like growing up without. Bolt says, "Success means nothing if you can't lift others up with you." This commitment to giving back culminated in his 2025 appointment as Jamaica's Global Tourism Ambassador, a role that allows him to promote his homeland internationally. As we reach the present day, the question remains, what is Usain Bolt building for the future? "I'm absolutely never returning to athletics," he states firmly. That chapter is closed. Instead, his vision includes expanding his music career internationally, growing the Tracks and Records restaurant chain to 15 new locations, developing major real estate projects throughout Jamaica, mentoring young Jamaican entrepreneurs. His children's future remains deliberately open. "I won't push them into athletics," he insists. "Whatever field they excel in, I'll support them." That's true freedom. The most striking revelation comes when we ask about the $12.7 million fraud case. While he acknowledges the pain it caused, Bolt sees it differently now. "That loss forced me to reassess everything: where my money was, who was managing it, what businesses were truly profitable. In a strange way, losing millions may have saved my entire fortune." Financial experts agree. By taking direct control of his investments after the fraud, Bolt eliminated layers of management fees and questionable advisors. The result? A more streamlined, efficient empire that continues to grow despite the setback. As the sun sets over Kingston, Bolt stands on his terrace one last time, looking out over the city that made him. The lights below twinkle like the gold medals that once hung around his neck. "Speed made me famous," he reflects. "But patience is making me wealthy." The journey from 9.58 seconds to $90 million wasn't a straight line. It was filled with victories, defeats, betrayals, and comebacks. Much like the man himself, the fraud case still isn't resolved. His music career's ultimate success remains uncertain. The fate of his children's future is unwritten. But one thing is clear: Usain Bolt is running a different race now, one measured not in seconds but in generations. And in this marathon of wealth and legacy, the world's fastest man shows no signs of slowing down. The finish line? He smiles, that familiar confidence returning to his eyes. "I haven't even seen it yet." But there's one final question left unanswered. What happened to those responsible for stealing his $12.7 million? And how is Bolt connected to their sudden downfall? That story is even more shocking than anything we've told you today.